Right about there. Let me start that over.
Damn it, Billy.
Pay attention.
Are you ready?
Let's do this. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Uncommon Sense. I am your host, Billy the Kid.
I'm your co-host, Butch.
And we are here today, as always, to bring you our uncommon societal, political, and philosophical opinions.
These are our opinions that are our own. They are not affiliated with anybody but ourselves.
And on that note, here's a couple of disclaimers.
Okay.
The comments and opinions of this program may be considered offensive. Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome back, Uncommoners, and for those of you who might be new here, thank you for joining us. We hope that you enjoy the show and come back for more.
Yes, please. We really want to hear from you. Leave a comment below. And for all those liberals that were upsetting, you can go ahead and email us that anthrax.
We get an email that says, "This is anthrax." Okay, delete. Bye-bye now.
Didn't touch it. I don't have a touchscreen monitor.
Alright, so back to the show. Alright, so you want to read us what's on the screen there, Butch?
Yeah. It says, Governments of the United States of America. Now, for those who didn't know, we've gone through a lot of different types of government. But the one that has stayed with us has always been the government of the Constitution.
Oh, you mean this thing right here?
This thing right behind you.
I feel like Vanna White.
If you want to go to the site that I'm on right now, there will be a link provided below.
Indeed.
Check this out for yourselves. Check the sources. When we started having a split party, was right around, I believe it was right around Abe Lincoln and the separate of the states. Because
that's when the split party thing really became a big deal.
Right.
I think.
Yes, it was.
Because we had other parties before.
Right.
I think the only other time it probably was as split as it was during the Civil War era was in the very beginning, because you had the Loyalists,
Yeah.
and you had the Patriots.
Yeah.
So.
And the Patriots are the ones who won the freedom of America. We won America.
Speaking of that, I watched a short the other day. Crap, I don't remember his name now. It was some French name. Yeah, and he was a general or something like that. Anyways, he received this note. He was playing a poker game. He receives this note. Neither him nor his messenger could read the note because it was in English. So he was like, oh, well, whatever, I'll get a translator later. He didn't feel like dealing with that at the moment because he was really into his poker game. He was having a great time. Well, that note was from George Washington, telling them of the raid that we were going to, that would happen on Christmas.
Yeah.
So he was warned.
Yeah.
He never read the letter, and he died consequently because of it. Because nobody knew that we were coming. We gave fair warning.
Yeah.
It's not our fault they couldn't read it.
If you want to read a little bit about the history of how our different governments came to pass, just do a little research. It's all right here at your fingertips.
So let's just talk a little bit about the different types of governments.
With communism, I can tell you this because I enlisted in the Marine Corps during the Cold War period, just at the end of the Cold War. We knew what communism was. We've seen pictures of it. We've seen news articles of it. at least every week, if not almost every day. So we were fighting against that. We wanted to help them out, show them a little democracy, and extend a hand to them, because we had been at war for so long.
Right.
We wanted to, or not a war, at war, because we had spies on both sides.
Yeah, well, that's why it was called the Cold War, because there wasn't actual combat happening.
Right, there was no combat.
There was espionage and things like that.
Exactly. And now socialism follows along with communism.
Yes.
And it just believes in private ownership, but they also believe in government control.
Yeah, so you own your stuff, but the government controls the stuff that you own.
Right.
Basically.
Yes.
Whereas with full-blown communism, the government owns and controls everything, even you and your soul.
See, now with socialism, the level of socialism that they're wanting to go to, they want to go ahead and empower a ruling factor. And please don't let it be Joe Biden. But a ruling factor, someone who will lead us, and someone who we can blame if anything goes wrong. During the Cold War, the socialists, they would fight. They would actually fight for communism.
Mm-hmm.
They have heroes like Che Guevara, but a lot of people don't know that Che Guevara was, a racist and a bigot.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't like black people.
Yeah.
And he also didn't like gays. I see all these black people and these gay black people that are walking around with these Che Guevara shirts.
Yeah, I know. They do it all the time. It makes it so obvious they have no idea who he was.
Right.
It's such a prominent thing. Yeah, as a symbol of revolution, social revolution, or whatever. That's what they see him as. That's not what he was. Y'all need to read a book.
Yes.
Just saying. And I always find it's so ironic you almost have to laugh at it, but at the same time it's very sad, because you've got gays and lesbians and trans and everything out here rooting for all this social justice that's calling for socialism, and wearing said shirts, and he's not the only one either. You got Marx, you've got even like I see like shirts with Lenin on it and everything, like,
and I'm like,
and straight up the communist symbol and picture of Lenin. I'm like, you go live there.
Especially during that time.
Especially, yes, during that time.
You know what they did? They didn't have one winter. They didn't have enough food to feed everybody, so they went on out and killed millions of people just so they wouldn't have to feed them.
Just so they wouldn't have to feed them.
People that they thought were traitors to the country, and took them and shot him.
Yep.
Shot his family.
And you could have been a traitor for anything.
Right.
Just because you disagreed with something that he said.
Yep. You're there to take orders and do what you're told. That's it.
And those who are freaking out against, say, people like us who have different opinions, the opinions that vary, they're freaking out at us, but what they don't realize about their cancel culture is that it will come for them too. Eventually, you will say something or do something that disagrees with whatever agenda that you think you're on the side of.
Right.
And then all of a sudden that agenda is going to turn against you.
Yeah.
How many others has it already happened to?
Well, we're just talking about Lenin. A lot of the people that they killed, out of the millions of people, were the people that helped them get to power in the first place. Mm-hmm. They didn't want to uphold their end of the deal, their promises. They just wanted to be in power.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And people don't understand it.
What else is really sad too is, on one hand we were talking earlier about how many hippies, original hippies, are really conservatives now.
Yep.
Whereas their views back then were very progressive. Well, progressive has now become regressive.
Yeah.
And the original hippies, they see that, right? But what concerns me is They're like, okay, there's people that I know that I've lost through this whole thing.
Right.
They are what I would call like a new age hippie.
Right.
And they're getting sucked into this whole socialism thing.
Right.
Because it's being portrayed as enlightenment,
Right.
as a step toward unifying humanity. So like all that stuff that like you and I talk about here and there, and like it's a lot of what like Russell Brand talks about.
Well, I got a question for all these socialists here in the United States, all these left-wing, liberal, way out there, Looney Tunes guys. I mean, these guys are wanting the socialism so bad, but also they also want, now get this, I cannot make this stuff up, they want open borders. You know why? Because we should take refugees from other countries. You know why they're leaving the other countries? Because of socialism. Tell me this makes sense.
Exactly. None of it makes sense.
No, none of it does.
There's an after school video I think everyone should check out. They released it not too long ago.
Right.
Maybe I'll link it for us.
Yeah.
Because it's a really good one. It's not very long. It's like 5 minutes.
Right.
And my kids love watching after school.
Yeah.
I turned this one on, and it's something about like signs that they're losing or something like that.
Right.
So this guy,
It's all right. Did you hear about
Infinite Waters or something like that. I think that's like his stage name or his channel name or something like that. I'm not sure. And from his accent and everything, I think he might be Ethiopian, but I'm not sure about that either. But anyways, he was talking about, you know, this chaos of the world that we're living in today and
Right.
in 2022, and how people are really waking up to this. You know, those that were asleep are waking up to what's really going on and the control that's being pushed upon us. And he said something that I've been thinking for a while. We are at that tipping point.
Yeah.
We've been coming up to it for a while.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where we get that feeling like this is the end of the world. It's the apocalypse. Where are the zombies? I've been waiting for those zombies.
Yeah.
I got Lucille ready. I mean, I'm just kidding.
I'm just saying, you know, I just want to know what brains taste like, but, you know, that's beside the point.
People don't have brains anymore. Imagine you're a leftist and there's a zombie apocalypse.
Oh, no.
And the zombie walks right past you. How does that make you feel? You have no brain for them to devour.
Makes them feel lonely. They're so lonely.
Makes them feel like AOC. But we are at that tipping point.
Yeah.
Like, I think we're just before it, honestly. But we're watching it get closer and closer and closer.
Right.
We're getting up to the top of that hill. And here's the thing. You think it's all downhill from here? No. We're at the worst point right now.
Right.
It's like when you're reading a book. We're at the climax of the story. And from here, it's going to seem like it's getting worse. It's getting more exciting and more chaotic. And then all of a sudden, it makes sense.
Yep.
And then as we go down into the end of the story, you get the end. You get the conclusion,
Right.
which sometimes is vague. In fact, the best stories have the most vague endings because they leave the reader with that inspiration of what could be.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What could happen. You know, and honestly, I feel bad for those that are lost in that. The ones that are falling for it.
Right. Yeah.
As much as I despise their opinions and everything, the fact that I know people and you know people that we're close to that are falling for this crap. It's heartbreaking. You know, it is very important to understand not only your government, but all governments, and to do your research on those governments, what they actually mean. You can find videos all over the internet of, you know, interviews with people who have come from socialist countries, communist countries, Nazis, whatever have you, and understanding all types of government.
It gives you a deeper understanding of what's going on.
Yes, and I think we can't fix our system if we don't understand our system. And we can't ward away other bad systems if we don't understand those bad systems and why they're bad. So, if the goal of the progressives is to bring unity to humanity, they have to learn what it is that they're promoting. Because they're thinking that they're promoting unity. And I'm speaking to those that are still able to wake up. Those who can still think for themselves. Still know how to read a book. So for those of them who are still capable of free thought, do your studies.
Yes, definitely. Do your studies.
Learn what you're promoting. Because you may think that you're promoting unity and equal everything for humanity, when actually you're promoting exactly the opposite. Because
Shangri-La, and all you're going to get is a pure living hell.
And watch that after school video. And it was very enlightening. And I think it's one of those that could be enlightening for both sides. For all sides of the spectrum. Because I think ultimately everyone as a human being really just wishes we could all have peace on earth and get along. And that sounds so far-fetched. It sounds so cliche. If it is so far-fetched, then why do we think that? Why does everyone think that? Why has every Miss America ever wished for world peace?
First step is to give a helping hand whenever you can.
Yes.
Second step, have mutual respect. Just for everybody.
And don't expect respect when you have not.
If you've not
yet,
or if you have not earned that respect, do not expect it.
And you can earn respect right off the bat.
Oh yeah.
Because it's all about your approach. When you speak to someone as if they're a human being and not some rabid animal, you know, then you will receive that same.
Yeah. All the stuff. You know how the best way to end this divide? Communicate.
Yes.
Talk to one another.
Absolutely.
See what we have in common, not what we have different. Alright, so to end this video, I'd like to say thank you for watching, thank you for listening. You know, we are on multiple platforms. We are on Rumble, YouTube, Spotify, Anchor FM. And I am on my way out the door. Thank you and have a good night.
We've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin.
You ain't my pimp,
Love.
Either a copyright violation or a cease and desist order. Please don't do that again. You're butchering the song. That's why they call me Butch.